Oh man, it's been a while since we've seen that map intro, guys. Now, anybody wondering who these two wonderful fellows are displayed down below? No, it's not me and it's not Tempo. It's actually the two players playing right now. Arium is on the left, Phog is on the right. And looks like Arium's got some like dance moves going on right now.
Really?
I don't know what that's about.
I saw you guys when you were setting them up, and I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh,
Phog
yeah.
is like playing in the dark, isn't he? What is he doing?
Kind of ish. I don't know. This was just kind of a last minute thing, guys. We thought it'd be kind of cool. We thought we'd see how it works. And to explain real quick, why is Derelict here? What is going on? Well, we have always a couple of oddballs in the Base Trade TV Showmatch series. This time happened to be Derelict. We got Newkirk Precinct Resurrected, and of course New Polaris Rhapsody. But it's a best of 5 between these two dudes, and we'll see where they decide to go. I'm Rifkin, joined tonight by Tempo, and for your North American Showmatch viewing pleasure, spawning the top right corner of the map, he's Canadian, he's Zerg. Ladies and gentlemen, IVD's Phog.
And spawning in the bottom left corner, it is the purple Protoss from IVD Gaming, Arium.
Alright, so, wait, did I turn sounds off? No. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going crazy here with all the starts and the rocky bumps. Now, these guys sent us a bit of a throwback. They kind of had that weird little hashtag in chat. One of the things that really was cool about this map was, as much as everyone hated it, and I'm sure every Protoss player was not favoring this map, this was a cool map, and it really gave some dynamically interesting games. And we saw so many split maps on this on this map. Yep,
it was definitely one of those maps where, I mean, I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to even think of if there were some really memorable games like that, but.
Oh, I think for me personally, Major versus Pig was like one of the best ZVTs I've ever seen of all time. Sadly, that doesn't relate back to ZVP here.
ZVP, right?
Now, it's kind of funny, you being part of IVD as well. I didn't realize how much IVD I had gotten involved with today until like maybe an hour ago. Because we get
I thought that was why you...
No, that wasn't like, why I reached out to you. But yeah, we got Phog, we got Arium, we got Puck, we got No Regrets. Oh 4 out of the 6 players today, plus a shitty caster. I'm sorry.
You get the whole. You know what? Like, we never leave each other behind. We roll as a pack, and oh my god.
No pylon being thrown down, but the probe almost dies. That would have been a little bit worrisome.
Arium loves being pretty annoying with this probe, though, for sure.
Well, actually, there's a very specific reason I went up for these 2 players, though, because you kind of joke about like, is that why we brought all the IVD stuff along? And that's because Arium and Phog actually played a best of 3 in the Sub Wars when Base Trade TV went up against Rotterdam. And honest to God, it was one of the best of 3s we got to see in a long time. Not just in the Sub Wars, but it went to Game 3. They were pretty good and well matched for one another. And I was more than happy to try and get them back for this one as well. Now, I know Phog and Arium, they're kind of like the... I don't know. I hate to say it, B-leaguers, but they're not exactly the Korean pros that that you hear about all the time. But they're really good, and that's why I was happy to get them involved. And I hope that they get a chance to shine sometime here in 2014. I know Fox taking part in Fear Dragons Breaking Out.
Yeah, the Breaking Out, and also the DETL. You got a chance to see them play quite a bit. Yeah, and I think Arium actually was like undefeated for a bit.
This probe, by the way.
I'm telling you, man.
This is the Harry Potter probe. It's well, never mind. I was about to start talking this
as soon as you got the Harry Potter title, it's like, nope, I don't want to be that anymore.
Yeah, I was about to start talking this big game about how it's living and it should have died and things saved it and. One sec, my game sounds so low, guys. I'm just trying to turn up a smidge. That fixes it. But actually, this is I totally forgot about this. The 3rd base location on this map for Zerg players is not really that big of a deal, but for Protoss, I already totally forgot just how exposed that is and how hard it was for Protoss players to take quicker thirds on this map. Yeah,
and you can like zone out the Protoss player, especially. It was such an awkward third to take that if you didn't get it up and established early, Zerg can definitely do a lot of things to make sure that you never do get it.
Exactly.
So. But I mean, it's kind of funny. We're looking at this kind of reminiscent, forwards fast expand, big old ramp, tucked in, and just kind of reminiscent, that.
I know it's that nostalgia factor, but classically, like we see in most matchups right now, we do have a Stargate coming out of Arium. Now, I've been kind of joking around with this, and it started as a joke, but it's actually become kind of true. It feels like all North American Protoss start with an Oracle, then lead into something else, be it a Void Ray or a Phoenix. And all the Europeans and Koreas, they start straight up with the Phoenixes. And I don't know if that's just
straight up.
Right, so like I don't know if that's just a trend that's come from playing on the ladder all the time, or if that's just a preference thing for particular players that we happen to cast over and over. So I'm very excited to see what Arium decides to go with here. I do think very strongly though, Phoenixes will lend a better player with good control much better results than Oracle possibly could.
Yeah, and I mean when you go for Oracle, you kind of depend on maybe the Zerg under preparing or playing a little bit more greedy. But here it goes. Apparently, Phog knows exactly. Oh, Arium knows exactly how Phog likes to play. So.
Right, so like, here's two problems presented with the Oracle. The first one is a lot of Zerg players, the Oracle wasn't a problem because everyone's like, oh, you got queens, why bother? They already have anti-air defense. But then Protoss players kind of figured out like, oh, I can actually kill a queen with an Oracle and then kill about 4 or 5 drones afterwards. Alternatively, though, we see some people just skip past that, ignore the queen, and try and get as many drones as possible and get the Oracle out alive.
Yeah, and it also helps with link counterattacks too. I think that's the big thing about the Oracle, where if there was a big speed link counterattack, the Oracle helps a lot, especially with defending your third, whereas a Phoenix kind of sits there and just watches everything happen. So, but yeah, a lot of links are going to be coming out here from Phog, and Arium is trying to get that third up as fast as he can, because he knows that if he doesn't get it up soon, then he might have to go for some kind of all-in if he doesn't ever get it up.
Yeah, I mean, I like the attempt to go for the wall off, but the problem is, again, with going for the Oracle first off, it actually has been driven off already. Didn't activate its laser, though, so it comes on with full energy, and if these Zealots and Sentries didn't clean this up, the Oracle certainly will. But this is a big drawback. This is a huge waste. This is a big investment to make that Oracle and get nothing done for it.
Yeah, it really doesn't do anything here. I mean, he could have done the same here, especially with the Zealot. Maybe they wouldn't have actually killed all the Lings, but hey, at least that Oracle can go back home and pretend that it killed 6 drones when it really is only just 6 Lings.
I like the idea of like pretending, like, oh, I didn't really do it.
I got 6 kills, man. Like, what do you look at my stat sheet, man?
It's a moral effort, or a moral victory.
Yeah.
Now this is kind of interesting out of Arium though. He did open with the Oracle, but is expecting for that sort of Colossus. I mean, like, okay, so the dance of Protoss versus Zerg is you go with the Phoenixes, leads into Hydralisk, thus you go Colossus. But Phog didn't really have to go straight to Hydralisk. In fact, he's got a Spire coming down with this Hydralisk Den. Now, with ranged weapons on the way, I'm sure he'll be going for the Roach Hydra Viper composition eventually. But there's a chance he could just go for Mutalisks, and right now there's just nothing to deal with that.
Yeah, and especially if Arium is
he misses the force field! Oh, okay, he gets the second one, though. Could have been much worse, and the Oracle's actually going to help deal a ton of DPS. It still has a bit of energy left on it. Actually, not a lot.
There's a hole here, so a few probes might go down here regardless. So.
And the ones on the natural being cleaned up by a couple Zealots, so not the end of the world there. But you're right, this third base looking very scary. Now he does get a force field to trap the Zerglings in, but not before taking some probe losses. Only 4 did go down though. Yeah,
and a big scout there, of course, from Arium. I mean, from Phog. I'm sure that he might have known about the Colossus, but he definitely knows that those are coming. He didn't get to see the Void Ray coming out, but.
But I mean, like, even if you don't scout that to confirm it, it's one of the things in this matchup that are going to happen. It's like a Terran player is going to have Hellions versus Zerg at some point. Like, you know that's happening. It's just a
unless you are who's that Protoss now that just goes straight up into like 2 more Stargates on usually Altazim. I can't remember. He's in Pro League right now. It used to be Alicia, of course, but like nowadays even there's a Protoss that just continuously always 2 Stargates, boom, this ridiculous amount of air.
I thought you were gonna talk about Nomi, because Nomi does this really cheesy build where he just goes like two Stargate Oracles and makes like 9 Oracles. It's really dumb, but it works, and almost gets the Oracles. Speaking of which,
almost, yeah. Look at this little awkward position Arium has to tuck himself into in order to defend both. Because it's such an open area.
Yeah, but it's also kind of a sweet spot at the same time, because you can reach the ramp, you can reach the third. It's if he had that thermal lance up, this would look a lot better for him. But because he's got no standard thermal lance, he has to burn all of these force fields. Now, strangely enough, the Oracle being alive still is actually something that I think Phog wish he had managed to pick off earlier, as it did deal a ton of damage to those Hydralisks being light units.
Yeah, so it actually did get a little bit done. And Arium holds pretty well. I mean, Phog just lost a lot of units there and didn't really accomplish anything. So, Arium's just going to be setting up for that kind of late game while Phog goes ahead, just now getting his 4th up, while that 3rd of Arium has been up for a very long time. And Phog's not even going to opt to go for Mutas. He's just going to go for that Roach Hydra Corruptor for now, at least until he gets up to Hive.
I don't know what's going on with your Arium, but your sound is like starting to fluctuate loud and quiet. Is there like...
Really?
Are you like moving away from the mic or anything?
No, I have no idea. Let me see.
Well, it sounds good right now. It sounds good like right now, but like while you're talking, it sounds kind of fluctuating like low. So I don't know what's.
I'm wondering if I'm like turning my head and I'm like. Duh.
Yeah, whatever. Well, we just went like I couldn't really hear you very well. So maybe. I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna. Here, I got this.
Okay, well, while you fiddle, there's a lot of Stargates coming down for Arium right now. And granted, his production is kind of on the back end for this because he went for the Stargate opener for the Colossus tech. These are slower, more expensive units, but now he's going to have that Blink Stalker count. He's going to actually have support for these units, and these are going to be absolutely necessary for the Corruptors that'll come here out of Phog. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I kind of wish he would have just gone to Hive Tech. Not only would that allow him to get a 3/3, but Vipers, I feel, are better than Corruptors 9 times out of 10.
And the bad part, of course, is that you kind of get stuck on this lair tech, especially because the infestation pit isn't up, and he's already going to be going for High Templar, which maybe, I don't know, maybe Arium is expecting Vipers, so he is going to be going for those. But I mean, even if you don't have the feedbacks, you know, even if you don't have anything to feedback, Storm is pretty damn good against the Zerg army regardless. So.
Chad has some advice: keep calm, don't move.
Remain calm, don't move my tooth.
Okay, so we got storms on the way. So these are going to be fantastic as the Hydralisks grow in number, but for now the storms aren't really going to be that important. Archons are going to be better. It's nice that Arium recognizing this. Decides to warp in or merge in. A couple of the Corruptors are so clumped up. They get focused immediately, but so do the Colossus. The Void Rays have been ignored, and he goes straight for the throats.
He does, and he gets 2 of the Colossus. Another one's going to go down.
Good, yeah.
And Void Ray is going to wait for those prismatic alignment to finish.
Well, as well as consider what Phog lost in that engagement, and that was only mostly the Lings he threw on the front lines. Look at the Roaches and Hydras that survived. He backs away with a very scary portion of this army alive.
And he's going to see this 4th coming up from Arium. Not going to bother to do anything about it yet, as there is a big warp-in at the 4th of himself. And, oh, the warp-in didn't finish.
Had to get out
Arium's
of
going to
there.
lose that Warp Prism. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one good thing about those Corruptors.
It'll take some time. Yeah, it will go down. Now, the Dark Shrine coming up behind this is kind of a cool move out of Arium. Kind of recognizing he's not been able to get a lot done as far as frontal engagements go. I don't like that he completely discontinued Colossus production. Like, he's starting to make the Immortals. He's got Storms relying on that for AoE. But that's not going to cut it versus the Hydralisks. He really needed to continue the Colossus production.
Yeah, and on a map like this, it's so easy to get such a good position on a Protoss army, but force fields are not as effective as they usually would be, and Arium is dropping in supply. I mean, we're looking at a maxed Phog here, and he's losing everything, Arium, as these...
Yeah, a couple of Blink Stalkers left standing. GG is going to be called, and ladies and gentlemen, Phog will take game number 1 in this best of 5.
Oh, yeah. That's derelict watching, man.
That's derelict watcher, yeah. The map